Warm greetings. Welcome to Wednesdays for Water. We are a citizens collective aiming to walk and talk water. We try to meet every week and connect people with various water worries and wisdoms. And in the process, we wish to curate future water warriors. The way we talk about trivial things for hours, water too needs walking and talking to address the rising water distresses. The way Wednesdays for Water is conceptualized as a prime time show, it wishes to make water everybody's business. The idea of the series was conceptualized in August 2020, and by the end of the year, the team and the structure was pretty much in shape. We started in April 2021 with Dr. Rajendra Singh's inaugural speech. We wish to bring science and society together, and therefore we try to bring in every session either a policymaker or practitioner and a researcher or academician. We also think that future generation is crucial and therefore they have presence in each session. We are going stronger with every week now with session on either quiz, couple of weeks of hard talks and a week of soft session of art and music. There is a simple structure for each session of quiz, hard session and soft session which are moderated by the core team member. Here is a glimpse of what we call as hard sessions and soft sessions.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Wednesdays for Water team and the partnering organizations, EDC Ahmedabad, Wiki, FluxGen, Counterview, and the Terry School of Advanced Studies, I, Fauzia, welcome all of you to the special talk on water democracy, making water accessible, available, and affordable for all, to observe Gandhi Jayanti and as our mark of respect for the father of the nation. To deliver this talk, we are extremely honored to have with us Dr. Kiran Bedi, India's first woman to join officer ranks of the Indian Police Service. Dr. Bedi has led 16 peacekeeping operations in Africa, Asia, and Europe, all in the war-torn countries where policing was reestablished. She has worked with the United Nations in New York as the police advisor to the Secretary General in the Department of Peacekeeping Operations. Dr. Bedi holds a law degree from Delhi University, master's from Punjab University, and a doctorate degree from IIT Delhi. She is also a Fulbright Nehru Fellow. She has also been a national and an Asian tennis champion. She is the founder of two NGOs, Navjyoti Foundation and India Vision Foundation, which reach out to thousands of underserved children, women, and men. They have rather provided livelihood to a lot of people and I would say the sustenance mechanism, especially during the COVID period. These women who were employed with Navjyoti Foundation and India Vision Foundation, they have extensively supported their families. She is a recipient of the prestigious Raman Magsaysay Award. It's also called the Asian Nobel Prize. Dr. Bedi has been voted as India's most admired and most trusted woman in India by The Week and the Reader's Digest, respectively. There's a documentary on Dr. Bedi's life entitled Yes, Madam Sir, has been produced by the Australian filmmaker Megan Donman. The film was adjudged the best documentary at Santa Barbara International Film Festival. Dr. Bedi has a biography, I Dare, and is the author of several books, namely It's Always Possible, What Went Wrong, As I See, Broom and Groom, India Protests, and many others. She's anchored radio and television shows and has also been a columnist. She recently completed her posting as Lieutenant Governor Puducherry. On behalf of the Wednesdays for Water team, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Bedi for accepting our invitation and joining us for this special talk on water democracy. The Constitution of India defines democracy as government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And similar has been the case with water. Traditionally, civilizations flourished around rivers. Water was considered as a community resource. It was meant for all and managed by the public. But with the advent of the piped water supply, water became a state subject. people gradually distanced themselves from the resource, and there was an indiscriminate abuse of water that began. As a result, we have now lost thousands of our lakes, ponds, wetlands, springs. Most of our rivers are sort of resembling sewers. Some places we have also concretized our rivers with our riverfront development programs. We have been talking about public participation for quite some time in environmental protection. I think since the Aarhus Convention was adopted in 1998, which linked environmental rights and human rights and government accountability and environmental protection. It establishes that sustainable development can be achieved only through the involvement of all stakeholders and focuses on interactions between the public and public authorities in a democratic context. So when I look at Aarhus Convention and when I look at the Puducherry water-rich model, I feel it has it all. So here public participation is in the Puducherry model. It's not about tokenism or it's not about placation, but about inclusivity and community empowerment. And today we are privileged to have Dr. Bedi, who has brought about this transformation. I would now like to invite Dr. Bedi to take us through this transformational journey that changed the entire ecosystem of Puducherry. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Fawzia, for very, very generous introduction and also very comprehensive. Thank you so much. That but also shows you, as you narrated, that I've not let a single day of my life slip out of my hands and used all my 24 hours properly. And then also running out of time because before I sleep, there's something again to carry forward, which means even for some of us, 24 hours are also not enough. So thank you, Fawzia, and I want to thank Terry and all your sponsors for having organized this event. I want to thank Chandni also, my director of the Navjyoti India Foundation, who's so much proactively involved into water harvesting more than 70 villages in Haryana, because we were working there, we are headquartered there as a foundation, and we were worried about our own water table right under our own earth. So we didn't want to go dry. So we have 3-4 water harvesting pit in just 2-acre plot of ours, 4 water harvesting pit. And I can tell you the water table is better than what it was 25 years ago or 30 years ago when we took over. So we've been into water harvesting as a foundation, as community workers, goes back to decades. So now today I will share with you my Puducherry water-rich model, which happened in the last 4 or 5 years during my time in Pondicherry. I want to explain to now, first of all, I want to know how many minutes do you have, because it's 5:10 right now. So then I can factor in. I want to share with you a visual documentation so that it speaks for itself. Then we can have the Q&A as much as your time permits. So I want to have maximum Q&A because I have a very powerful documentary for you, which was documented. Thank God it was. Otherwise, it's so difficult to go back now. So tell me, Fawzia.
We have about half an hour for the talk and the movie, and then we can move on to the Q&A. Does that sound good? And then we'll have almost about 40 minutes for Q&A.
Excellent. So you give me half an hour for the audiovisual?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So after my introduction, because my documentary is 14 minutes and
Right.
10 minutes, and my slideshow another 3 minutes. So it's about just 15 minutes of the audiovisual, and then we will have so much more of Q&A. We can have more of Q&A because it's good to clarify more.
Sure, ma'am. Huh?
And if anybody is visiting Pondicherry, then I'll tell you what to look for to understand what happened. So let me first quickly give you the scenario of how did I get involved into so much of water issues. Well, as an administrator, you govern a territory. You have to administer law and order and all civic amenities, etc. So did water became one of its issues. Now I want to begin with just saying, how did I get to know the problem? How soon did I get to know the problem? And why did I get to know the problem? The issue was I had opened up my systems of administration from day one. From the second day, I, as a Lieutenant Governor, the Raj Niwas was an open house. Anybody could come to Raj Niwas with any grievance and petition on a first come, first served basis. And it's an influx of these petitioners that I was informed of the problems of water. Of course, I was informed about security issues and other issues, but water was also an issue. Now, remember, you and I cannot know the problem of water because we are served with good water. We have water in our washrooms, we have water to drink, we have water to bathe, and we don't deal with these issues. We are served with water. We serve with assured, green, clean water, clean water. So how do we get to know? One source was when these people start to come. And then they start to say, what were the complaints? We are getting saline water. We are getting no water. We are getting stinking water. And we are getting no water for agriculture. So I used to have these farmers groups also coming to me through a very good Pondican, an organization, Pondican. So if somebody going to Pondicherry, please go and meet Pondican people. They are actually the real activists who brought me, connected me more and more, and Auroville. And there's a gentleman called Raghunathan. So go and meet them, Praneet Banerjee and Pondican and Mr. Raghunathan of Auroville. These are the people with their farm associations used to come to my open house because I was accessible. I was fully accessible. And every time they came to me with this water issue, I start to work backwards to say, why is it recurring? Why is it smelling? I realized Puducherry did not even have a water policy, number one. As you rightly said, that it's a state subject. They did not have a water policy. We did have it later, and we notified it later. But when I was in time beginning, it did not have a water policy. When it did not have a policy, it did not have a proper pricing policy. It did not have a distribution policy. It did not have a policy of when you would say yes or no to a tube well or a bore well. Okay. It did not have a water policy on costing, metering, no metering. How much water you pull out, it's your choice. You stop it, it's your choice. So tube well would run on and on. So we had, and then we were violating the norms of coastal guidelines, where beyond which you cannot have a bore well. So I'm giving you the scenario, no policy, and also at the top of it, the government of the day, politically, it was politically correct to allot plots for for the people who didn't have a house. So many plots were being given into low-lying areas, which were literally like water conservers, which would accumulate water during the rain time. So they were giving away even water bodies. The ponds were getting filled up to say, Ghar bana do ya. So colonies were getting struck. See that? No policy, water bodies going away, costing was not an issue, right? And the poor man did not know where to go. If the Raj Nivas had been a closed house, I would not have known the problem. Because we were an open house, and because I was an open house, every secretary's office became open. Had to be, because if the LG is listening, why wouldn't you listen? But you will also have to listen. So the Public Works Department, the municipal services, all grudgingly in the beginning, but willingly later, all opened up. All right. So now it was an opening up of a whole Pandora's box. But where were the solutions? Infrastructure. So I'm giving you a little background of where it was. And Groundwater Authority didn't exist. In the Groundwater Authority, which is supposed to license and permit, had no data. When I asked them, give me the data where all the tube wells are. How many tube wells we have? No data and no technology and no training. I think but only one of them was around. That's it. One or two people, that's it. There's nothing. So it was not a serious issue. Basically what I'm trying to say, 2016 May, when I took over, during the first 3-4 months while I was understanding the problem, it was not a serious issue. It was a poor man's problem. Tumne jahan se pani lena le lo. And then it was a gift given. It was a favor done by a certain local politician or whoever. Humne aapko pani diya. As if this was, so where's the democracy? I think it is crony capitalism. I'm doing you a favor by giving you. So while I have clean water, so I'm now going to run through you a film. I've given you this background. Now get to see this film. Okay, can we switch on? Yes. Where is my technology man? Can you switch on? Here you go. that we are working to work on water-rich Puducherry. Because if Puducherry is water-rich, drinking water, agriculture, industry, lakes, water tanks, all of the quality of life continues to improve. A water-rich future for Pondicherry.
The Pondicherry region is located in the coastal area and it's entirely dependent upon the surface and groundwater for its agriculture as well as domestic needs. In a prehistoric period, from the prehistoric period, the region of Karaikal and Pondicherry is taking up the irrigation activities through the surface water. In Karaikal region, it is entirely dependent upon the flow in the Kaveri river that is starting from the June. And in the Pondicherry region, the agricultural activities have been carried out through 84 system tanks that gets filled up during the northeast monsoon. Several activities has been taken up by the government of Puducherry. As a novel idea, our Lieutenant Governor suggested that instead of government putting in all their energy, manpower and efficient and resources into this cleaning and storing water, a community-based system can be evolved so that all the stakeholders, especially those industries, institutions which are surrounding these tanks, can be tied up and their resources can be pulled out and they can be coordinated in maintaining these tanks as well as to the activities in filling up these tanks.
I think the first time ever people of this area see. This too has happened by facilitation. Raj Nivas in the Public Works Department worked as a facilitator between the donor and the contractor. Donor is directly paying the contractor and you get a clear channel.
ரெண்டு வண்டி அப்படியே பக்கத்துலேயே எடுத்து குடிய முடியும் சாய்ச்சிருவாங்க இப்போ குடும்பம் வரைக்கும் இடைய கையில் எடுத்து முடிச்சு
சுத்தமாக பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க கிளீனாக இருக்குது இப்போ வாய்க்கா.
This is a very prestigious project that have been awarded to us, in which we will clear this 7 kilometers of canal, and it will enrich 7 ponds, and almost 700 families will get benefited because of this activity.
We are from MRF. We are actually known for doing a lot of water management in terms of rainwater harvesting and stormwater harvesting within the factory boundaries. What you see in the background here is a channel which is desilted by us with support from PWD. They have done a part of the desilting and we have done the majority of the desilting.
We are volunteered to sponsor this program, water enrich program, in order to irrigate around 70 villages in and around.
Last year took a project of desilting ponds in the nearby village of Pinassikupam. This activity has helped a lot to conserve water, which can be used for the agricultural purpose and also for village consumptions.
This model has been proved very successful in cleaning the tanks as well as in draining out the flood carriers. So that in this monsoon we have not experienced any water logging in the urban areas.
Madam involved in our groundwater potential activities and create a new water-rich team. In every weekends, our team consists of PWD, Agriculture Department, Groundwater Authority, Science and Technology, and all other LAD departments. We go together on bus and visit each and every industries and institutions in the water-scarred area and insisted them to create the rooftop rainwater harvesting structures and rainwater harvesting pits in their campus. Usually, the average annual rainfall of Puducherry is 1200 mm, 350 mm received from southwest monsoon and 650 mm received from northeast monsoon, 200 mm received from summer rains. The water levels improved because of the action taken by the water-rich teams. After our water-rich teams visits to all industries and institutions, there are 240 rooftop new rainwater harvesting structures were created now, and 35 recharge pits have been created in their campus. So it leads to increase in water level even though in the deficit of rain for this northeast monsoon. We have observed in several areas there is 6 meters increase in water level in the shallow aquifers and 4 meters increase in the deeper aquifer. The water-rich team is very important and to improve the groundwater potential of Puducherry.
I wish to thank the Government of India, the Prime Minister's Office, the Water Resources Ministry, the Niti Aayog, and various exhortations which came through Mr. Gadkari. Many exhortations inspiring us to work for water-rich territories, water-rich areas. And here is a Puducherry model which we are offering. Let every corporate social responsibility donor a house be involved with some desilting, a lake, a channel, a canal, or a drain. It must be done, friends. We've done it. We had no resources, but we did it because we wanted Puducherry to be water-rich. Since, as you've heard from the chief engineer, the hydrographer, the hydrologist, that Puducherry is so starved of water. We were driven to the wall. We had no money, but we found it. It is only by partnerships. We want to thank this nomination. This presentation is not for an award. It is to offer a model called Water-Rich Puducherry model, where anything is possible. We just have to work together. This model is bringing corporate social responsibility in water-rich. We have to work together. We need strong coordinators which bring all agencies together, the Public Works Department, the municipality, the science technology, the agriculture, the urban development. Somebody in every city must bring agencies together to work together. And this is a success story of working together internally and externally. So it's called the Water-Rich Puducherry model.
Now the slideshow. You can show the slideshow. We've got few 10 slides for you, Fazia. That will include those things which didn't get into this film. And sorry for the internet, because you couldn't see them. You could see it in like this. I'm glad you got the message anyway.
Ma'am, we could see it completely. There was very mild flickering that was there, but there was no problem, absolutely.
I'm glad. Now here are the 10 slides now. Now this is the documentation which we have for you, which we will share with you quickly, with all of you, so that you can have the whole of it. This is the cover page of that documentation. Next slide. Next slide. This is a collage. Next one. This is how we used to bus around, as you saw. It was like a meeting on the wheels. This is where we did. And if you'd see this one, after the meeting, we used to all have food together. We all had lunch together. So this is something which has not come in the film. I've included this. This is very wonderful that by 9 o'clock, we used to all have lunch together. And while we used to leave about 6:30 in the morning, and then have breakfast together, not lunch, breakfast together, and then meeting in the wheels and catching up here. This is very interesting concept which we developed. Next one. This is how we progressed through 1919. You see this before and you see this after, and we have the donor gallery. We have ensured every donor gets a full mileage, because we understand that they need to be, their stakeholders and shareholders need to know where their money has gone. So you see this before and you see this after, before and after. And you see the Larsen Toubros and the Whirlpools of the day, all of them who were water guzzlers, they were first identified that if you're using water, it's your duty to give back. So they gave back what they were using and more. So we made sure that they give more than they use. Next. Here's another. Now this is urban drains, because urban drains also to save flooding, because even they had never been cleaned up. So we involved the urban RWAs and the market associations of the day to help us. So while we helped in agriculture, we saved flooding inside. So desilting at the right time. In fact, today I asked Puducherry, October, because now the receding monsoon goes to Puducherry in the south. And everybody had a different answer. When I asked them, have you people done this desilting? Because by October you get the rain. And you believe me, so the 10, 11 messages I got, everybody had a different message to give, which means that collectively they did not know, but individually they had some information, negative or positive. So I thought I must share with you. It's very, very important for people to know what's going on. Next one. Now this is the model. I've sequenced it here. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Second slide. Now, go back to this last slide. Can we? Sumit? I've given the small steps, verbally spoken these. These are the steps. These can be expanded, debated, customized, and you can take this up into your training modules. The support in kind without any exchange of money is the key. You see, we have not touched money. If you notice, there's no money. Money has gone directly to the contractor. So we have identified the irrigation canal. We found the donor and the contractor worked out what is the cost, how much time. We gave them a junior engineer who would supervise it. And we kept visiting it to do the Bhumi Puja and do the awarding and do the celebration. So we kept the celebratory aspect, facilitating. While the money was not touched, Raj Nivas has not touched a penny. It is the contractor and the donor. And now it's up to them. And number two, some of them come with their own machinery. They did it themselves. And some came for the diesel, that they gave the diesel. Some contractors themselves said, we want to do donation, so they gave it free. So you see this amazing model where government is not involved with money. It is entirely a community-based facilitating agency where we're connecting the contractor with the donor. And they decided what is the cost. So we are not involved in negotiations. Next. And that is you see this, I told you, this is from the hydrograph of Manohar. You saw him in the film. This is where it went. It actually went up to 6 meters. And this was the rate, and this was declining. Had we not done this, this would have gone down. So you can imagine the going down is the plus factor. And after that, we've gained so much. unbelievable. We did it all within a year plus. This is what is the game there. And there were some colonies which are very bad. So we've gone colony to colony, Puducherry University to university. Puducherry University had 800 acres of land with not a functional water harvesting pit. And we took them by the collar. We said, no way, you got to do it. And then that's how you see some of those pits, they came up. So Puducherry University, which is our own government of India, was defying and using groundwater for watering their forest. They had a great forest and watering our groundwater. We didn't allow that. We said, no, you will not use groundwater. You will create your own water and then do it. So flooding also was taking place. So we got, it's a become Puducherry today is one of the models, also has so many water harvesting pits. Next one. And then of course, there's a chart. Now, these are the two collectors who played a great role. This was a collector in Pondicherry, and this is a collector in Karaikal. This gentleman in particular did a very good job, and he brought in employee social responsibility, where he took it to colleges and made it employees, and he had his own employees, and he got an award, by the way. This gentleman was awarded by the government of India for this Nam Neer Karaikal. This is a gentleman you can always go back to and trace him. His name is, I think it'll be out there, Vikrant Raja. His name is Vikrant Raja, a very good collector I had. I would recommend him that if you want to go back to him, he can come and explain more how he did it, because he actually had his own employees contributing and adopting ponds and canals. So it's detailed here. Once I send you this document, you can read it. And this is the way I was also sharing it to the Twitter, giving them the full credit. Whenever anybody did a good job, I use my social media tools to promote them. And it went to Prime Minister's office. You see this? It's tagged to PMO. So PMO was kept in the picture, and he finally got a national award for this. Next one. And this is the gratitude donors. Never forget the donors. They are a part of my book. They are a part of this documentation, because they are the ones who, even though they were the users and they were the guzzlers, and earlier some of them were not returning anything, but once they realized that it is a sensitivity issue, then the beer, the cold drinks, the washer machines, all these pharmaceuticals, if you see, all of them are there. So we gave them all a Swachhta Hi Seva award, all of them. You heard them. Next one. I think that's it. And that's our gratitude team, which made this whole film. This is the team which put this together. Along with this, just as I showed you, I shared with you this publication. We have other publications. I think you can go to the Raj Niwas website and scan this QR code, and you might get some of these publications where you can find out more. But you can go, and this is an initiative of Team Raj Niwas, and the Team Raj Niwas comprised of all these men and women. You see this, public officials. There are people from the IS officers, the PWD officials, the municipality. All of us comprises just this gratitude team. That's it. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you very much. I think I was continuously glued to the screen, and I've been taking down a lot of notes as well. So I really loved that Water Warriors on Wheels. Huh? So Palace on Wheels we keep talking about, but this was actually, passionate Water Warriors on Wheels, the passion that the officers showed. I think a brilliant thing, man, that you did probably is building synergy. Normally, the interdepartmental collaboration is completely missing. What I see is, they all work in their respective silos. And that was, when you started it, you brought about this synergy between the departments, but at the same time, you also got the donors on board. Their commitment towards water, probably making them realize now we have the environmental, social, and corporate governance and all those things. But probably at that point in time when you were doing, there wasn't as much emphasis on that, but to mobilize the CSR fund for the right activity. Ma'am, water policies are definitely missing in many other states also. So I'm glad that you have got it done in at least Puducherry there. But I see it missing. Most people bank on the national water policy and they don't adapt it to the state water policy. And probably, I'm not sure how the guidelines are, whether they are supposed to prepare it, but they are just missing on. sometimes I see some notifications rather than, in lieu of the water policy. So that's another thing that about rainwater harvesting, I think almost bylaws everywhere talk about rainwater harvesting, but implementation continues to be really weak when it comes to. Told that you reach out to people even now, and that is very important. I even tell my students that often the projects fall flat because the donor agencies or the project people who are there, they execute the projects and they just take some photographs and they leave the place. And of course, this feedback loop that is there, that keeps people motivated to see that it succeeds. And that's very, very important. I think that's something that you did. It's brilliant, again, learning for all of us that's there. So I can go on and on. I have got a lot of notes, but we do not have as much time. And I have, a big round of applause for this wonderful initiative. I have with me the Wednesdays for Water team members. It's a set of very enthusiastic people who have come together very informally. So it's not a registered organization or anything, all over the country. So we have somebody from Ahmedabad, we have people from Hyderabad, we have someone from Bangalore. So from all parts of the country, people have come. We have come together and we have formulated and we run this weekly talk or some kind of an event on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. So it happens every Wednesday. So I would like to invite them to share their thoughts and ask questions if they have any. So first, I would like to invite Dr. Mansi Bhargav. She's an independent consultant and based out of Ahmedabad. Mansi, over to you.
Thank you, Fauzia, and thanks, Dr. Bedi. It's good to see you again here. Last year, we were together on the same platform for Engaging Cities initiative from Auroville and Pondicherry, where they were talking about it. And you inaugurated the whole month project, which we did together. Now, I am traveling next week to actually assess the work which has been done. And I'm invited from Sri Aurobindo Ashram and the university. So to go and look at these initiatives which are done, as well as the One School, One Pond project, which Raghu and Probir are initiating now. So I'm really excited because now it's a preparation for me to travel to Pondicherry and get ready what is waiting for me. So my question is that once we have this successful model where water democracy is really a very traditional thing for us in the country, it's not something new which we have to reinvent. How do we really balance the large infrastructure approach, which is very much top down? And which is, I'm not denying that they are not required, but the point I would like to raise is, can we do something in the country where we have investments of equal stature as it is done in large water infrastructure, as we can do it for small infrastructure? You rightly mentioned you did it everything with no money on hand and every transaction was out of the system. But if we have to really think judiciously and looking at the country's water distress, I have many of my students sitting here. How do we really convince government to put the money in both sides equally, rather than having more money on the top down and having no money in the bottom up approaches? So I'm teaching water governance actually at 5 universities in India. So I'm very excited to hear how do we really change this dynamics, funding dynamics.
Funding dynamics now in which area? That's a question.
Yeah,
see,
very
because
good.
water has so many areas for generation. Which are you talking of reuse? Are you talking of recycling? Are you talking of generation? Right? Are you talking of quality? Are you looking at distribution? There's so many issues. Which area? Because money is required in every area.
Very well said. I will then focus mainly on talking about putting money on dams and interlinking of rivers vis-a-vis putting money on ponds and drain cleanings, and like what was done in Puducherry model. So because the money distribution is very, imbalanced. So we have to do both.
So are you talking
large infrastructure and small infrastructure?
Engineering infrastructure at the dam level, at the highest engineering level?
No, I'm saying the money put in large infrastructure like dam and big projects is way too much than there is no money in the small projects like pond cleaning and drain cleaning. How do we balance the funding in both so that both can go along? Because Puducherry could succeed because of the able leadership of you being there. And I'm very excited about it. Now, how do we percolate this kind of model to other states when we have to start with a point that there is no money? So can we, as government being the facilitator of governance, can government also rethink the funding model in large infrastructure versus small water infrastructures like ponds?
Look, you said it right. That's why, look, there is no mathematics. It's need-based. Yes. That basically means we need to have a comprehensive approach, look at the need and how the needs can be met. Is it small irrigation or is it large-scale engineering? That means all needs have to be on the table. So here is the money, you got 1 crore, then you look, I'm looking at a figure, 1 crore, and now you look at, I have villages, I have a small irrigation needs, I have agriculture needs. How do you balance them? And object is everybody equitable distribution of wealth, equitable distribution of water. That is democracy. That means first get to know the needs. Then you have the expertise and the local area needs and involve the locals because they have local solutions. Please don't ignore them. They've got some fantastic low-cost local solutions. So involve them because they're ancient, they're traditional, and they have only community time requirement, not the money. So I think we need to pool. It should not be a closed door bureaucratic policy decision. It has to be truly democratic, but everybody's needs has to be on the table and then see what is best available so that people know we had 1 crore, it's gone to these priorities. And in these, that means you may choose priorities. So budget, identifying people's needs, priorities with people's participation, not political only, that this is my voter bank and now I need 1 crore. And see, dekho, main lekar aa gaya. So that is where expertise and expert committee should allocate, not the politician, because politician has its own compulsion of fulfilling his constituency needs. So it's no rocket science for that. After all, they voted in, they want something in return. So let's leave them aside for this allocation. Otherwise, every politician would want the whole budget to himself. So therefore, ask the politician, state the problem to this committee. That means an experts committee should be formed. In that experts committee, these needs have to be identified and then money distributed. I think that would be the most equitable way of doing it.
I think you nailed it, and Pondicherry is actually sitting as an expert committee there. Thank you so much, Dr. Bedi, and I'm really looking forward to visiting Pondicherry now. Over to you, Fauzia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mansi. So we have other passionate people sitting here. We have Mr. Ganesh Shankar. He is a CEO at FluxGen, based out of Bangalore, and working in industrial water pollution management. So how can we use or monitor industrial water pollution that is there? So over to you, Ganesh, I think, before I speak much about your organization.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Fauzia. Dr. Bedi, I can't say what a pleasure it is to even see you live in an event like this. You've been an inspiration to generations, and I've read so much about you, and I feel really still nervous. So we are a small startup, I should say, and we've been working on water intelligence, as Dr. Fauzia said, especially in industry sector. But I have 2 questions. One question I would leave you to answer later. That first question is, how does leaders like you inspire? That is something that I want you to help, because I've read so much about you. That is something I really want to know. The second question is more to do with water. And, you know, I am 38. I have like around 30 years of career ahead. I want to ground truth some of these ideas with people like you so that I can work for next 30 years on these ideas, right? So what I believe is water by itself as a liquid, it is transparent and clear, right? I believe if you make the data of water transparent and clear, most of the problem can be solved. But I'm no expert in water. I did my master's in Indian Institute of Science in building something for a quantum computer. So I am not a person from environmental engineering background. So I might be wrong. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. So it might actually help me build my rest of my career in this idea in this field.
So what is your question specifically?
So I want to understand, if you actually make the data of water transparent and clear, I mean to say, if you actually make all the data of water everywhere, right? I mean, the 1 hour conversation that we have today, the amount of data is equivalent to monitoring water of the entire apartment for one entire year, right? So I'm saying that the data of water is very small compared to even the video data. We have seen a digital technology used in entertainment, gaming, retail, and that has solved various problems. But I feel that the problem, I mean, we have not used digital technology enough to solve the problem of water. And I believe we can actually bring all the data of water, whether it's in the rivers, tanks, or even the water that I consume at my own home, all these things transparent. Of course, we have to do small enough to do big enough to matter, start with bigger things and bring it, flow down to everywhere. If you monitor everywhere, I think the solution can be built on top of it and making sure that people will be able to conserve, save, most importantly, honor water. So that is my hypothesis. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Does this make sense, or do you think this probably is not a right approach to solve the problem of water?
In fact, this is the approach. For good policy making, otherwise, how do you make intelligent decisions if you don't have the basic elementary data? So Ganesh, I mentioned there was no data on how many tube wells we have, how many bore wells we have, where are the locations, how much water are they pumping out? There was no data. So in fact, this is an elementary data. Is tube well locations, and they should be geotagged, and how much water have they used should be known in the data. How much water are they allowed to use should be part of the data. How much water should be available, allowable. What is the groundwater situation should be allowable, because this is being done in some other countries today. In the US, they are metering the water being drawn out of the rivers and canals. They're metering it and they're rationing it. And now everybody has enough. So here, I think the beginning has been, Ganesh, I think it's an opening. You are bringing in one of the most original required ideas, but not even kick-started. So I think you need to start talking about it. Start with where you are. Start with the city you are in. Don't look at national data. Start working with the district and the panchayat you have. Please begin with whichever you have right under your nose. Because if you wait for Government of India policy, the other policy, they may have, they may not have, I don't know. Because this is the first time I'm looking at it intensively. But begin with, this is what I did. I only began with what I had and what is right before me and what can I do. You also begin with what you have and start and look at overseas studies, start writing about it, start talking about it, and start promoting the idea, and start beginning as a sample in the district you are in. What is this? Start having questionnaires and feeding it. Then you will start talking about, then expand to nearby cities, and you will be in demand. You will be in demand. And then maybe somebody files a PIL, saying somebody files a PIL. You never know that we need water data, because we are getting water stressed completely. The worldwide networks are showing 4 countries clearly, because primarily agriculture: Pakistan, India, and China and us. We are major 3 are strong agriculture besides US. We are therefore using maximum water for agriculture. Therefore, we are water stressed hardly. Therefore, I would suggest a PIL will then start coming in, saying we need water. Just as you're looking now, digital health card, you will have a water card. How much water have you used? Then you have a water card, because you will have to come quickly to that stage. Maybe NGT orders it, maybe Supreme Court orders it. You will need somewhere, but begin yourself and then prove it that I'm not getting it. There's no system. And then go to the court if you can. Go to the NGO bodies which are dealing with water. And I think NGT might order it. Your local NGT may order. NGT is easy to deal with it. So don't find a good lawyer. Go to NGT. First find out what are the blockades. Find out what are the blockades. What is the data you want? What is the artificial intelligence you want to need? Why could drip irrigation not be mandatory? Because drip irrigation is literally monitoring how much water you have put into the field rather than flooding the field. At the moment, we are flooding our fields, not drip irrigating. While the Prime Minister has been talking about it, but not even started yet. So I think, go ahead.
That gives me a lot of confidence that at least we are on the right path. Just want to add one more thing, that while you were in Puducherry, we also did a project for one of the dairy. It's called Rusi Milk, a winner dairy, for their complete water management for the entire facility. And those guys were able to reduce their water consumption by up to 20% after utilizing our solution. So I think there's also the reason why they were so focused on water management in their facility, because there was a strong drive by you in that facility, and that eventually helped us do a project. So thank you so much.
Offer this model to other dairies. So you already experimented. So I think you are on right track. You are a right startup. You just need to have talked about it and keep working on it. You have a long way to go. You've just begun. You are truly a startup, even in the idea.
Thank you so much. I think there's so much powerful inspiration, and it's going to remain for a long time. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really, really motivating. And ma'am, in fact, we do have soil health cards, so we can definitely, we definitely need a water health card. There is no doubt about it that that's missing. We also need Bureau of Water Efficiency, just as we have Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So a lot of these things, are definitely required. With Ganesh, I think we have his colleague Vasanta, who has joined us. She's the vice president there and at FluxGen. Vasanta, your thoughts, your reflections and questions. Huh?
Thank you, Fauzia ma'am. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Good evening, Kiran ma'am. I mean, I'm like really out of words, because you've been an inspiration to me also. I've also seen you in a couple of ways in which you being as an Indian police service. I also aspired to become, but later I had different changes in my career, so I then shifted it down though. But my grandfather was in police service, so I've always, I always look up to people like being in that particular region and making a change in the society. To add on what Ganesha said, even during 2018 in the Smart Cities Expo also, FluxGen's product was being rated as the given the award for the best product for monitoring water, and it's very suitable for smart cities. So I just wanted to put that note also. And ma'am, I have one question, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm like a very young professional in this field of water management, and there are a lot of people in this field who want to make a change, and there's a lot of challenges that we need to go through before we come to the field, but there's a lot of ideas with this. So ma'am, any tips for young professionals like us on how do we put forth our ideas and how do we get it streamlined to the main working pattern?
So if you're looking for ideas, if that's your question, if you're looking for ideas on water solution, it's got 100 problems. Please start looking for problems and then focus on the working, pick up a problem and work on a solution. It's in fact in one area which has been almost remained unattended. Look at use, look at reuse, look at recycling, look at sewage treatment plants. What do they use? Look at grey water. Okay, look at the quality of water. Look at desalination, how they use the technology. Look, there are hundreds of varieties. You choose, but how will you get the idea? Is going house to house, field to field. Go to the field, see things, look at farmers, look at vegetable growers, look at wheat growers, look at cash crop, look at householders, look at women, look at ponds. Once you start walking the village, you will get amazing ideas. I got all my solutions by going to the ground. Did you see me delivering from the? It was all interactive, learning from each other. When we were traveling in a bus, all experts were sitting in the group, and they were all telling me, "Ma'am, this is possible, that's possible, this is." Then we went to the ground, and then the villagers talked about it. So the villager talked, contractor talked, the engineer talked, a scientist, or see that I told you in the end, municipality. So once you're on the ground, they will not come together for you because you are not a government official who can bring everybody together like I could. Therefore, you will have to go to panchayats. You will have to go to the vegetable grower. You will have to go to others and then find out what's the problem. Then you pick up the sector area what you want to focus on. So where do you get ideas? I've told you, ideas are in the ground, not in the office. Then you match this idea with research already done in the area or nothing done, or what, that's an area now to focus on. And if the results are substantial, it's worth doing. Then you go about getting resources. How do you meet the challenge of getting an answer? So then you match your idea, research, and the strategy with resources. That's your startup.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was very much informative. I mean, it just got me streamlined to what I was thinking down. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Vasanta. And we have Professor Bibhu with us, who is from TISS Hyderabad. Bibhu, over to you for your thoughts on today's discussion on water democracy.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for thank you, Fauziya. Thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful lecture. I would like to hear from you based on your experience and engagement with not just this, also different people's movement earlier. How can we scale up such initiatives in, like, I mean, in different places, right? Pondicherry, like, it's a wonderful case, but then Pondicherry is a relatively much smaller administrative territory and like has relatively different kind of, has a different historical context also, like where it probably it is like with a different, like it is relatively easier to bring people together. I mean, I should not be saying this, yeah, but how can we scale up such initiatives like across different parts of the countries? Thank you.
Challenges are similar. Even in Pondicherry, for me to bring people together was not easy. I had to be on the ground. I had to be the honeybee. I had to be the honeybee. Without being a honeybee, others wouldn't. Secondly, it was not easy in the sense, Bibhu, because everybody, if things are not going to work, they'll get targeted. So they're afraid of getting targeted. Who are you speaking? You are moving into my territory. So it's small, but it has the same challenge. Because none of them, they were not looking for positions. They were looking for solutions. But there was somebody's position was getting affected. So the person in position was trying to, saying, why are you coming in? Who is you? This is not your job. So because there was something transaction to do, means I do you a favor, you do me a favor. Here there's no favor. People are deciding things for themselves. So equally challenging. But remember, this is a model. This is an experimental model. Bibhu, where are you? In which city are you in?
I'm in Hyderabad.
I think the beginning again is what I told earlier, is form citizens groups, empowered citizens groups. And in those groups, have proactive lawyers who will not charge you. That's a condition. You need philanthropy, pro bono, good lawyers. Form citizens groups and then look at that area problem, right? Seek a solution from the public servants. If the collector joins you or the area SDM joins you, you are through. If he does not join you, then you are stuck. Then what do? Ideally is collector plus. If you can get the collector on your side, area manager, the municipality on you, whoever is dealing with water, there'll be more than one agency dealing with water. Collect the key federation chiefs. You know, there is an RW confederation. Everybody needs. There's an agricultural federation. So if you can identify the local leaders of that, form a group and include pro bono lawyers, identify a problem, as a representative, address this issue. And if you're getting a response, excellent, work together. If you're not getting a response, then serve a legal notice through your pro bono lawyer to the concerned officer. And I tell you, legal notice works. Because they have to put you on, answer you on an affidavit. Now, you're not fighting. You're not confronting. You're not going to take on governments because you don't have that time and energy. That is why I'm saying, come together as good citizens. Include public servants by all means, whether it's a secretary concerned, whether it's a collector concerned, whether municipal commissioner concerned, whether secretary PWD concerned, whoever is in charge, you must find out who's the key. Invite him, co-opt him, collaborate with him, and form your own citizens team of experts who are also influential in the city. They will be all influential people. They're all educated, well-placed. They will all be friends with that person. Form a action group for the city and begin this. Hyderabad will be so many districts. Begin with one district. Work out the model. There'll be Rotary president also who will also come. So no money exchange. No money exchange. Government, if has the money, can finish, and let the government co-opt all of you. Government co-opt, see, I need you, like I co-opted donors, government can co-opt, that's okay. And you are there, you can generate donors for them. So you generate the donor, they have a bit of money, let their money be used, and bit of money with more community support. But if it doesn't work, then the legal notice is the last answer. Or NGT is another answer. That I served you a notice. I want an answer. I want things to be done. Please do it. That's it. If he does it, excellent. Otherwise, go to NGT. Unless you are proactive as citizens and exercise your rights and responsibilities in democracy, you won't get this. So you people should not be sitting ducks and say helplessness. You're not helpless. Problem is you are all silos. You're separate. You are individuals. You are not coming together as a fist. You're all one people. I can twist you. I can twist this. I can twist this. I can twist this. But why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why don't you come together? But this is not to eat. This is to say we are united. And in this fist, the collector could be part of it, or the commissioner could be part of it. And that's then you use the social media. You use the social media. Today we did this. We appreciate this. And this is how it is going. That will inspire unity, collaboration, cooperation, coming together, synergy. That will then inspire. You inspire by working together. Look, Rotary clubs do so many projects. Rotary club probably could be taken up some project and then do it in a bigger way. So I think what answer lies in coming together, not fighting, not working separately and not fighting against each other, but as a last notice, if nothing works, but it's vital for your quality of life, then you have to. Then he said, "नहीं मुझे मौका नहीं दिया, मुझे बताया नहीं, हमको बताया नहीं." We told you so many times. अच्छा, right to information is another important. Follow, put in a right to I. Could you please tell us what is the budget for this? What is your budget? You will get the RTI information. So use the information and serve a notice. Tell us how will you use this money? Will you be able to de-silt this, or would you like to do this? What's your engineering plan? They have to share with you. So use the RTI and first use the RTI. Then ask them to do this. If they still don't do it, then you have a notice. Then you will win it like this because you've given them ample opportunity to do the job. But being together means akele nahi, aa jao police wale ke paas le jayenge. You are together. So if anybody's taken away, the whole group goes together. So I think unless you all come together as citizens groups, citizens awareness groups, then only you succeed, not otherwise. In Pondicherry, Vibu, they are not together. They are not together. They are individuals. And they're still not together. They're not a group, but they still dare. Let me tell you, individually they dare. They did dare go to NGT and they got the right. They dare, but only one or two dare. But they're not together. Why? Because it's small place. Now it's small place and they get attacked. So if they don't have a person like me sitting there who's there to protect them, they won't dare. But then they're afraid. They know I'm going to go away one day. They're going to be left behind. They still would not dare, even if I'm there. Even if a person like me is there, they know I'm temporary. I'm not permanent. They'll not dare. So therefore, for a person like me, it's more important to do because I know they will not do because they have to live. They have life after I leave. So why should they make enemies? So therefore, I have no grudge against anybody not coming in. I had to do extra because I knew they will not come, because after I go, who will take care of them? So therefore, but in big towns, that's not the problem. So if you ask me, challenge of Puducherry was bringing them together and expecting them. I did not expect anything from anybody, knowing that they have capability. They have. So what I was using was accessing their knowledge, accessing their skill, allowing them to come and meet me, taking a petition from them, and then taking it upon myself to do.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. I think, yes, a few very good points again, that we need to look at collaboration, not competition. So that's something that we need to definitely look at. The other thing, and always that strikes me, that citizen apathy. The citizens, we love to crib, we love to sit in our houses and keep talking about it and keep blaming everybody else. But we never try to come together and believe in collective action. And that's something that is, again, and this is not just related to water, for any cause that we talk about. It's very easy to just put a tweet or maybe sit back and then a very laid back kind of an attitude. It's very important that citizens come together and reach out to administration, not just for their support, but you also give them that confidence that you are able to provide them. You have the skills with you to provide them support for actions related to water we are talking here, but any such action. So that's very important. Give them that confidence that you are willing to give time and you are in a position to share your expertise for that action. So that's something I think very, very critical. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, we will take some more of your time. So I hope you have about 15-20 minutes more.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So we have two very young girls also with us in our team, Megha and then Manisha. So I will request both of them. Manisha is from Jaipur. I think, Manisha, you've joined, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And Megha is in Delhi. So I'll request them also to share their questions.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for the presentation, the documentation, and everything what you're sharing. So currently, I am Orville, actually very near Orville, and basically geographically in Puducherry. And I am an architect and urban planner. So from past more than a year, I'm here, and I'm trying to understand various things here. And I'm in touch with people like, especially a water expert here, John Francois, who is a French person, very old person. So he is working on nature-based wastewater treatment techniques at a very decentralized scale. So, and luckily what I find here is that, which is very interesting, that I'm from Jaipur, I'm from North India, but when I came here, I see that the people are very much aware and willing to take up steps at their household. Like from their doorstep, they want to do something, which I rarely find in North India. So that is a very interesting thing, which I find in South India. I actually studied in architecture also, I did in South India. So that is something I find here, and I'm very happy to see that. Otherwise, my, I don't know if I should say it as a question, one idea if you can give, that I feel there is a lot of disconnect between the government and the citizens. Ultimately, the government, as you also mentioned, they are public servants, and they are working for the public. But then when we talk about desilting these canals, urban drains, or other channels, we find the solutions, or we look for solutions when it becomes such a big issue that we have to desilt these urban drains. But then I feel that the problem starts at the household. So how can we make the people more aware that they do something so that these problems do not start only? And I'm very happy, like I would like to share, I'm living in a village, and just the house in front of me, they are separating the water, and they are, I saw a small pond, they have put some stones and they are just putting, so I asked like, what is this water? So they're like, this is just washing machine ka water, and this water we are putting here. And the other bathroom water is they are using for gardening. So from small households, I see like lovely examples, like how you were saying. Local people have like fantastic solutions, which are very cost effective. So how can we promote all these cost effective solutions from a very household level? Because government is definitely doing something when the problem becomes so big. How can we do something right from the household? That What if you can suggest?
My short answer to your long question is, if it is,
sorry.
and it was, I think, is train the trainer. Train the trainer. Start training the trainer. Train the group of RWAs, train the panchayats so that they can handle these things themselves. And once they will train, they will become solutions provider for themselves. They like it because they're solving their own problem of water. They're solving their own problem of garbage. How can they convert the garbage into manure? You know, in Mahe region of Pondicherry, every household has a backyard where they convert their garbage into manure.
Yes. Yes.
Every there's Mahe declared open defecation free, the first city in Pondicherry, open defecation free. Because they were more literate, more educated, but also cleanliness oriented. Every Mahe house, almost, I've seen it myself. They've made arrangements for own garbage management. So if Mahe can do, why can't others do?
Definitely.
So somewhere, some culture has stayed on. That means just start training. Take up one village. Take up one panchayat. Pondicherry, unfortunately, doesn't have panchayat system yet. It doesn't have panchayats. But you can use a cluster of SHG women. You begin with self-help group women. Pick up self-help group women, train them. It will become money for them because garbage is manure. They can sell manure.
Yes.
Or they can use the manure in their own garden to grow better organic vegetables, but sell organic vegetables, right? Organic vegetables will fetch them more money. So begin with self-help groups, train the trainer. And do you know the self-help groups to do some small micro business can get even loan from the government to do something like this organic farming? So don't look at, start small. Start with panchayats. And in the panchayats, you don't have panchayats, pick up self-help groups and let them train the trainer. This way, village-wise, you'll start making a gradual movement. And panchayats, Pondicherry will have panchayats very soon by early next year because they're going in for panchayat elections after 10 years. 10 years. And now when they have the panchayat elections by next year, panchayats should be in position. In fact, now the challenge would be to train them so that they know what their responsibility is. And since it's going to be likely 33% women, most of the SHG women are likely to get elected. Train them. And the whole union territory will be cleaner. So if Mahe can do it, so can Karigal do, so can Pondicherry do. Why not? So can Yanam do. All the places can be, women can be targeted for this. Begin with women.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's the key. Thank you so much. And Megha, would you like to unmute and share your question?
Hello, ma'am. This is Megha here. I'm also an architect planner, and I'm currently, I'm actually based in the UK, but I'm currently traveling in India. And this was really an inspirational talk from you, and it has really given us a lot of ideas and inspired us to actually start taking things in our hands. And like you said, of doing things at the grassroots level. So thank you for that. My question would be that I'm actually more interested in seeing more young youth involved in it, and also like school kids or small children who actually can take up this from their start, like, you know, very young age, and also inspire then the people in the family to do that. So I was actually looking forward to know if there was any initiative or any program that was taken in your this entire journey of Puducherry to involve more of young people or more of school children or kids. Hello.
The moment in Puducherry, moment you get into government institution, it takes its time. It takes its time. Begin with private school. Begin with a collaboration with a private school. But at the moment, don't lose time, because at the moment the schools are hybrid almost, and they're not even there. So when I suggested you go to a village, when you work with self-help group women, you will bring their youth children. You will see children available. At the moment, there are no children available in schools. And they will also not permit your connectivity with them because of the COVID factor. So I said, instead of losing a year, I suggest self-help group, or where you are in the town, if it has a panchayat, work with Mahila Mandals. Start with Mahila Mandals. They are open to these ideas because they all want sanitation. They all want cleanliness. Teach them how to do, they handle their own garbage, make it into manure, throw it into their gold fields, their fields. They all something, either they are an agricultural worker or they have a small place of their own where they grow vegetables, etc. Or they have a cow. How do they deal with cow dung? How do they deal with cow dung, etc.? If you can work with self-help group, get their youth. At the moment, if you're talking about school children, you may have to wait for 1 more year.
Yeah.
But if you want to start now, Megha, then start with self-help group women in the villages themselves and begin with their youth.
All right. Yeah, that's helpful. That can be done.
There are also Nehru Sevak Kandal. There are also NCC cadets. There are also youth groups in villages. Yes. You can work with the youth groups. Don't at the moment focus on school children. Focus on youth groups of Nehru Yuvak Kendras or the NSS students, but they're all spread out. NCC cadets from different colleges. So they're not living there together. I'm looking for somebody who's there as a cluster. And the cluster would be cluster of youth groups in that village. Identify, is there a youth group? Take them. Girls group, boys group, self-help group, then you can work with them.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Thank you. Yeah, Megha, that existing groups, you should leverage what is the low-hanging fruits that are there. If there are groups already. And Nehru Yuva Kendra is a brilliant example. In the Jal Shakti Abhiyan that's going on right now, the Government of India, the National Water Mission, has collaborated with Nehru Yuva Kendra across India to mobilize the people to take action. In fact, I had the good fortune of training these Nehru Yuva Kendra across India. It was like 650 coordinators that I could do the training for. So it's very, very important, and they're pretty passionate. Some of them reached out to me after the training and they're quite passionate about taking action. Just that they need somebody to show them direction. They're already organized under the banner, and probably they are like foot soldiers. So if you can reach out to them, I think it would be really amazing. So we have, thank you. I think that was the team that has already discussed, but we have some of the audience, some from the audience also, from the attendees who wanted to ask questions. So I've elevated them to participants. Nikhil, would you like to unmute and speak up? Huh? But keep it brief. Keep the question direct and brief.
Okay. Hi, I'm not too sure if I can be seen, but I will still go ahead with my question.
Yes.
Thank you so much to the organizing team. Getting an audience with ma'am is it's inspiring and really motivating. Thank you so much. Cutting to the point, ma'am, I have a startup. We call it eJal. We are looking at water sector in a very major manner, and we want to create a lot of impact, and we are trying to address the whole issue in a different manner. What we believe is out of the 100% of water that we use, only 20% is potable needs, and the rest 80% can be done by treating the sewage and reusing it. We have identified the best sewage treatment plant technology from Japan and tied up with them. What we want to do is we want to establish STPs around the town, treat the wastewater and map the usage of that water so that there could be a parallel water system that could feed the consumers. Maybe not for the drinking purpose, but for industrial, construction, washing, horticulture, agriculture purposes. Wanted your view on this idea on our concept of a circular economy, and looking out to possibly even work in Pondicherry if you guys think it's good enough. Thank you so much. Because you asked me to keep it brief, I'll stick to this much.
You must have visited some sewage treatment plants by now.
Yes, ma'am. We've established a few as well.
Oh, good. You've established them. Where have you established them?
Ma'am, we've done a few projects with hotels and resorts. We've done a few projects with the Indian Railways as well. But the interesting projects that we've done is one for the Indian Railways Bhubaneswar staff quarters. We converted a septic tank into, we took the sewage into our STP, cleaned the water and gave treated water for the parks that were sort of going barren and little brown. So we gave water for that. Another very interesting project we did is we took water from the drain going beside the park in Delhi, in DDA. We set up our plant in DDA, the park, and we treated that water and gave water for horticulture to the Park and Garden Society. So yes, so there's a lot of wealth actually flowing through the drains, which could actually be tapped and reused. And yes, so this is my answer to your question, ma'am.
So it is needed. Every factory needs it. Every household needs it. Every cluster needs it. Every residential colony needs it. Every department needs it. In fact, you are just as sanitation is needed, garbage management is needed for every house. So is this needed. So why not? You're not even at the tip of the berg. Keep improving your technology. Keep marketing it. People will keep approaching you. Keep going installing it. It's an absolute needed. Go and take good funding from the government of India. They will give you. You are needed.
Ma'am, also.
Nikhil, I think I'm really sorry. Please, I will request you to connect with us separately. We'll be happy.
No problem. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks for sharing
But
that.
you are needed. I must tell you, these are two areas which have not even opened their account properly. Is garbage conversion and technologies for it. And secondly, grey water.
Absolutely.
These are not even started. So you have a wealth. You can be a billionaire by that if you have it right way. Everybody needs you. You just have to make it public. You will see there will be greater demand. There may be legal directions. And with climate change, this is going to be an integral part of it.
Absolutely, ma'am. I think Singapore, almost 33% of their water requirement comes from the recycling of wastewater, what they call the new water. So it's already there. People are using it. So we can also scale up. Quick question, ma'am, from the chat box that I'm putting to you from Badshah Sarkar. And that question is about involvement of local women in the decision-making process of the Puducherry Water-Rich model. And the two questions here. So one is involvement of women. The second one was whether there were new infrastructure or new construction that was done, or it was only the older ones which were sort of restored.
It depended on the situation. Some ponds were restored. Some ponds were recovered. Some were reconstructed. It all varied from place to place, need to need. So you don't have to construct when something exists. So you just have to revive it. Like certain dirty ponds were revived, or they were strengthened by planting of trees. So there was a partial construction, partial shoulder strengthening, and partial palm trees, particularly palm trees. We did a lot of plantation of palm trees because they're very strong in roots. So therefore, it is all situational according to the people's needs. Now, whether the women were required or not, I found that in this water issues like these, particularly when it came to pond management, they came together because it was near the household. When it came to irrigation canal, it was the men who came. So women came for ponds. Men came for irrigation canals. Men came for drains. So it was depending on the geography and situation and location. But men and women both were very interested in seeing a revival of improvement in their quality of life concerning water management. So I think particularly if you have panchayat systems wherever they're available, you certainly have 33% ready women. I didn't have ready women, no. I only had self-help groups, and they were into other training programs in a big way. They were into poverty alleviation programs, Manregas, etc. Do you know actually the basic economy of basic households are run by women in Pondicherry? Very high percentage of men take to liquor. In Pondicherry, liquor is a very big source of revenue for the government. And unfortunately, very high percentage of men actually waste their money onto liquor. It is the women who are running the homes. And I found women very proactive in in earning for themselves as coolies, as laborers. And Manrega has also evolved a lot. Manrega is a very big source of revenue, earning for, it's a good return for the day, the wages. So women were very active in Manrega, while men were acting in irrigation, as I explained.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Nagendra, would you like to unmute and ask your question? Nripendra, would you like to raise your hand? So I think they have just raised their hand and they don't have any question. And ma'am, any new construction was done as part of this? Did you construct also, or it was only cleaning of the older ones?
No, we constructed some ponds. There was a lake constructed in Karikal,
okay,
a new pond that minister actually worked very hard. We created a very large pond. It is situational. The new constructions also happened. But that too came by voluntary effort.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. I think we have a lot of people raising hands, but Tejas, would you like to unmute and ask? You have a question.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ma'am. Just a question is all about the one website is there, which is a Waris. They keep on taking a lot of data and then they keep on updating. That is their job. But that is not getting updated so often. So if we are also can participate, help them to update this data. But if your small intervention can help, so many times the wrong information they are updating, and that will be helpful to the all fraternity who are working in a water to get a data to bring a decision-making process. So this is just a small request if we can help us. Thank you very much, ma'am.
I do not know who Waris is.
So ma'am, it is WRIS. It is Water Resources Information System that is there. It's a website where actually they're supposed to update all the surface water and the groundwater data, including the water quality data. So if we go to, I think, WRIS.com, it is there. Unfortunately, the paucity of data that you were talking about, that is there everywhere. And that's true even for IMD, for instance. So you don't get reliable and latest data available at these places. So decision making becomes a major problem. So Tejas, what I would like to suggest is that as individuals and as institutions, as researchers, it's our responsibility also to collectively write to the authorities to update this data. And we have never taken it up.
Is it government run?
It's government run. WRIS is government run.
Which government is it?
Yes, ma'am, it comes under the Ministry of Water Resources and under National Water Mission. Actually,
why don't you put it on the website? Why don't you tweet them? Why don't you tweet them saying we are waiting for the updation? Use social media tools. Write to JMS Minister.
Ma'am, I wrote 2 times. I emailed them.
They just please keep tweeting. Tweet them. Tag PMO.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, I would do that. And I'm also
tag the minister.
I'm also ready to help. Thank you. I will do that.
If a government site is not responding, then please tag the minister, whoever is the minister. Tag them, and you will see the result. Kitni bari karoge? You will get the response, Tejas.
Yes, ma'am.
I think perseverance.
Use the social media too.
Yes, perseverance pays, and I think people are more active on social media too. I remember once getting stuck while traveling from Delhi to Aligarh at a junction where some function was going on, and I tweeted to the Delhi police, and not Delhi, sorry, the UP police, and within 5 minutes there were people who came to rescue me out of that, and that was super fast. I really thanked them for that. So Twitter works; it does work. One last question I think I'll take from Lavanya Kumari, and that would be the last question for today. Lavanya, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. I'm Lavanya, studying development studies from TISS Hyderabad. My question is, were there any other short-term incentives to bring those diverse groups in the Puducherry, Also, in terms of vision, how every time in the monsoon season, Mumbai and other cities are heavily underwater. So do you have any other vision for these cities, ma'am, where there are heavy rains, and also a vision for places like where there are droughts?
वो सारी रामायण पढ़ ली, अब पूछिए राम कौन है?
नहीं मैम, शायद मैंने आपको मतलब वैसे नहीं, मैंने आपका पूरा सुना है। मेरा क्वेश्चन का मतलब था कि आपने पुडुचेरी को इतना डाइवर्स ग्रुप्स थे, बट फिर भी आपने पास में लेके आने की बहुत ये कोशिश हुई है। बट मेरे गांव में ऐसा है कि मैम बहुत माइग्रेशन होता है, बिकॉज वहाँ बारिश नहीं है और फार्मिंग इज द ओनली टूल। तो उसी के चलते हुए विलेजेस से लोग शहर आते हैं रोजगार के लिए। तो मेरा ये था कि ये जो आपने यहाँ पर अचीव किया है, क्या ये हम पूरे इंडिया में एक ही साथ कर सकते हैं?
मैं कहती हूँ अपनी पंचायत से शुरू करो ना। आपके लोग आते जाते रहेंगे, जाने दो, पंचायत तो आई ना, पंचायत से काम करो। पंचायत का तो काम है, पंचायत को फंड्स भी मिलते हैं, पंजाब पंचायत की जवाबदेही भी है। आपको पंचायत के साथ काम करना पड़ेगा, ना कि आने जाने वाले लोगों से। कभी आपने कोशिश की? पंचायत ने आपकी सुनी नहीं होगी, क्योंकि हाँ सुनी
नहीं मैम, नहीं सुना।
नहीं सुनेंगे वो, इसीलिए आपको इकट्ठा होना पड़ेगा। आपको इकट्ठे होना, स्ट्रेंथ दिखानी पड़ेगी। अकेले की नहीं वो सुनने वाले, आपको इकट्ठा होना पड़ेगा 10-12 लोगों को, एक्सपर्ट्स को। मैंने बताया था ना, इसीलिए सारी रामायण बोल दी। राम पूछ रहे राम कहा, अरे यही तो शुरू में कहा था कि मिलके करो, मट्ठी बनो। ये बोला नहीं था टिंटाई से कि मिलके करो, उसमें वकील भी डालो, नोटिस डालो, RTI लगाओ, कहा ना था?
हाँ मैम।
फिर यही तो मैं बोल रही हूँ। तो इकट्ठे हो, आप इकट्ठे हो जाओ। 8-10 इलाके जब इकट्ठे होके सरपंच को मिलोगे, उसमें आदमी भी हो, विमेन भी हो, सिर्फ लेडीज नहीं हो। ऑल ऑफ यू गो टुगेदर एंड देन से पंचायत सरपंच जी हमें ये इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, ये देंगे, खबर दे। और एरिया का SDO भी है, जिला परिषद भी है, कलेक्टर भी है। यही तो बोला था। जब तक आप ऊपर से ऐसे शुरू नहीं करोगे, सीधा ही पंचायत को जाके बोलोगे, वो क्या सुनेगा आपकी? कुछ नहीं सुनेगा। So try and go through the work with the local agencies to move, but your implementer is your panchayat.
I think yes, ma'am. You've just put it aptly that it's collective action. You know, we study a lot of theory that we study on collective bargaining and negotiating. All those skills that you are reading in your books, I think it's high time that you need to apply. And if you start, acting and you start producing results, there will be more people reaching out to you. Last evening, I got a call from somebody from Muktsar, Punjab. I have never been to that place. I don't know. Somebody from Delhi Jal Board recommended my name. Muktsar, of course, has lots of problems related to water, and including that person is telling me its cancer is endemic. A new district collector. So they said that the district collector wants to have a meeting. My first question was, when has he joined there? And that fellow said yesterday. I said, then we can work together.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when you know the district collectors also move out very fast. So you need to have somebody with whom you can work for a couple of years. But it's very good that the collectors, the new officers who are taking over are very enthusiastic. I have been working with DC Gurgaon a lot. And what ma'am told about the public-private partnership, again, Hero is supporting a lot of pond rejuvenation work in Gurgaon district as well. Likewise, there are other water guzzling companies. You have Coke, you have Pepsi, you have a lot of other, you have breweries that are there who are supporting. So try to identify and try to connect these people. What ma'am said about, I think, partnership is very, very critical. And that's SDG 17. And if we really want to take a human rights-based approach to development, while it is the last goal that is there, but it is the most important. Ma'am, our next Wednesdays for Water is again on Puducherry, and we have on Jal Swaraj a person coming to actually present from the grassroots, so that we have kept it as a follow-up session. It was indeed an honor for all of us to have you today for the talk on water democracy. We are extremely motivated, we are extremely inspired, and you are actually leaving all of us charged up. Thanks to all the members of the Wednesdays for Water team. Thank you very much to all the attendees. Some of them have been very loyal attendees and have been attending literally all our sessions. You are the motivation behind our drive. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wish you all the best for all your endeavors and truly appreciate the initiatives you are taking. You're spreading information, you're inspiring people and propelling them towards taking proactive action. Thank you for that's what your role is. That's what TERI stands for, right?
Thank you so much, ma'am. And last but not the least, Chandini, for actually, we should all thank her. She was there with us in the last, I think 2 weeks ago on the Wednesdays for Water, talking on gender and water. And she actually facilitated this connection and helped us get to here.
Navjyoti is a model. Now, Navjyoti is a model. Here in Pondicherry, it was led by me as a government official. In Navjyoti, it was led by an NGO.
Yes.
It was led by individuals. It was led by Chandni and her team, right? We went to Panchayat. We got the Panchayat over. We started to inspire women and men, and we got together. Then we went to the collector, and then we got the collector co-opted. So what did we do? We played the role of bringing them together. And that's how Chandni became a rallier. Navjyoti India Foundation became a rallier of collector, the area SDO, the panchayats, the women, the Pani Panchayat, the Pani Police. That's what. So you need a rallier. But we also start. हम भी अकेले चले थे. हमारा भी कारवां बना. अकेले चले थे. उधर we were not government. Chandni is not government. But she got the Sehgal Foundation. She got the panchayats and the sarpanches. She got the donors and brought them together to do water harvesting. And we made so many gabion structures. We made so many lakes. So मैं ये कह रही हूँ. We were a strength because we were an NGO. We were so many. But we were still just an NGO like that. But we also went to the collector in areas. And we also went to TERI. Chandni came to TERI. I believe she's doing a PhD with you, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But she is herself an inspiration for me.
She's brilliant. Yeah.
She's brilliant. Thank you so much. And then I think I would end with what ma'am said. मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर लोग आते गए और कारवां बनता गया.
That's right.
So looking forward to all of you joining us for the next Wednesdays for Water. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, presenters, for joining us today and enlightening us with your wisdom. Also, thank you all the participants for joining us and making the session interactive. Besides walking and talking water, worries and wisdoms collectively, we see this as a platform to cross-connect and expand our network and explore possible collaborations. We are also making notes to publish both scientific and non-scientific work. Here is a glimpse of some of our writings. You may reach us through email, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also look at our website www.w4w.in. We look forward to your suggestions and comments to make the series more meaningful and engaging. And meanwhile, we hope that you appreciate today's session. We represent Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Hyderabad, TERI School of Advanced Studies, New Delhi, Environmental Design Consultants, Ahmedabad, FluxGen Sustainable Technologies, Bangalore, Counterview, and we are supported by Wiki's Water Resources Council. We truly appreciate your support and encouragement in conducting this series, and we hope that you will stay tuned with us through our social media platforms and our website, and you will write to us at our email IDs.